you, Mr. Chairman. The cores of at least 2 of the Japanese reactors are severely damaged. I have just been informed by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission that the core of Unit 2 has gotten so hot that it has probably melted through the reactor pressure vessel. To bring the reactors and their spent fuel pools under control, the Japanese have had to resort to sending young workers in to risk their lives as they operate what amounts to giant water guns. To assess and then sop up the radioactive water that has been spewing into the ocean, they are relying on the use of bath salts and diapers. Just like the use of pantyhose and golf balls to stop last year's BP oil spill, the Japanese have been compelled to try a nuclear junk shot in a desperate attempt to stop an environmental calamity. The Japanese are making it up as they go along. Yet the Nuclear Regulatory Commission insists that our systems are safe even before beginning, let alone completing, its review of our reactors and spent fuel pools. Mr. Virgilio, you have said several times today that the Fukushima reactor did not have the same hardened vents that some reactors here have to prevent hydrogen explosions. But just yesterday, my office was informed by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission that this is not the case and that the Japanese reactors did have them. So which is it?
If they have them, sir, I don't believe they used them, given what we saw in terms of the detonation.
Why would they not have used them?
That's not clear to us.
Well,
nor is it clear to us that the reactors penetrated the vessel on
I think what happened was they had them, but they did not work. I think that's the only conclusion which we can reach. But they did have hardened vents. I just want to put that on the record, and that came to me from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission yesterday. After 3 Mile Island, which also involved a hydrogen explosion, a requirement to include a number of measures to prevent hydrogen from building up and causing explosions were put into place. But in 2003, the NRC removed some of these requirements from its regulations, in part because it concluded that they would not help in a severe accident like a Fukushima meltdown. Although some nuclear reactors may still have these systems installed, the NRC does not require them to actually work. Is that not right?
We've removed the technical specifications and requirements for their operability. Yes, sir.
Meaning you don't require that they have to work, which I don't think is something that should be the law. I think you should change it. They should have to work. Now, don't many of these measures also require electricity so they could fail to operate if there was an electricity outage at a nuclear reactor?
These systems, if they're there and installed and still required, are required to have backup power.
And that backup power could be a battery, and your requirement is that it lasts 8 hours maximum. Is that correct?
More likely the diesel generators that are required to operate for at least 72 hours.
What is your requirement for batteries? 8 hours?
It depends. It depends on the design of the on-site and off-site power system.
What is the maximum for batteries that you require?
I'd have to check on that detail.
Okay. Now, the diesel failed, did it not, in Fukushima?
We believe as a result of the tsunami washing away the...
So if the diesel fails, then the batteries become the backup, and if the batteries only are required to last 8 hours, that probably isn't something that is reassuring to people, because there are going to be perhaps hundreds of billions of dollars of loss in Japan because these systems did not work, and many of them are just going to be innocent victims. 2 of the hydrogen explosions in Japan occurred due to hydrogen buildup in the spent fuel pools. Isn't it true that none of these measures are ever used to protect spent fuel containment from a hydrogen explosion?
Correct.
That is correct. Thank you. So basically, whatever equipment is in place to prevent hydrogen explosions has been made optional by the NRC or has just catastrophically failed in Japan. So that is something that we just have to take note of here in our country and require a full-scale reevaluation of all of the assumptions which we have made. There was a 9.0 earthquake in Oregon 100 years ago. Okay, we're not talking about prehistoric times, and we just have to make sure that we've got these protections that are in place, work, and are mandated by the NRC.
Mr.
And
Chairman.
that is not the case today.
And I think